Alright, what's going on everyone? My name is Deontay, but you can call me Emperor. As you can see, we have a basic gameplay guide for Beatrix today, as my first official Endless Ragnarok video on this channel. We were already allowed to use her in the closed and open beta, along with the demo side games offered to us players. So I thought it was only natural for me to do a guide on Beatrix, since she's a pretty straightforward character to learn from what I experienced so far. What I'll be going over is the current loadout I have on her, with the new additions of summons and master traits included in the DLC. Then I'll go over her basic gameplay on the practice dummy. Then we'll go over the skills and what I recommend using. Afterwards, I'll go over my recommended sigils, along with my build being used on the practice dummy once again. Finally, we shall put her to the test on the Chaos Plus version of Lucilius. So let's go ahead and get this started. Let's quickly go down through the list of traits that I have on Beatrix. And this is the current overmastery that I have on her, which I happened to get just before recording this video last night. Now, I'll also go through her list of master traits and the perks that I have equipped on her. My entire list of summons that I have equipped right now. Anyways, I'll need to switch out my weapon, take off all my sigils, take off my summons, and take off all my master trait perks, so I can probably go over a gameplay guide. As you can see, on her heavy attack button, she has this thing called a Delta Clock. You will see after I do my light attack string that the gauge will actually pop up on the screen to my right. So let's quickly do that right quick. And as you can see, from that alone, the gauge already built up a bit. If you either tap it once, twice, or hold it down, you can switch the hand on this clock. Now, what I'm on right now for the red icon is for damage. And as you can see from up top, I am getting drained from my HP while I have this equipped right now. If I tap my heavy attack once, it'll put me over to the green side. You can consider this the healing part of this. As you can see, I am regenning. Now, if I tap it once again, we'll go over to the defensive side. This can give you things like Stout Heart, which allows you not to get interrupted while you're attacking. But I'm also allowed to hold it down. Here goes. And you can just release it wherever you want to go to. As you saw earlier, a simple light attack string will build it up, but she can also use heavy attacks within her combo that will also build the gauge. Not only that, she will also have skills that we'll be going over later that can build the gauge as well. So this right here will be one light attack and one heavy. And then tap again to go into a combo finisher, like so. This will be two light attacks and two of heavy. And then right here we had three attacks and two heavy. Lastly, we will have the final light attack string that instantly pushes into the combo finisher. We do have this gauge built up, and you can't exactly activate this gauge by simply tapping it like so. As you can see, what you actually need to do is hold your heavy attack to make the hand spin around, and then you'll see it will eventually activate. You'll see from the effects on the screen. What that does is put her into a state called Devour Causality. In that state, it enhances all of her attacks. Not only that, but it enhances wherever you're at on the clock. If I were to be in Devour Causality and attack, well, that would heavily increase the attack I'm doing. If I were in Devour Causality in healing, I will be given Drain whenever I attack the opponent. If I was in Devour Causality in defense, I am now given the ability to have debuff immunity, which allows me to not get debuff from really anything. So let's go ahead and go into Devour Causality, and then I'm going to leave it on healing.
Go time. I hope you're ready.
And you will have this gauge that will eventually run out. So like I said in the state, she is enhanced. So that means in her combo finisher, you can do another finisher on top of that to do even more damage. So one light attack into a heavy with a combo finisher, and then a power finish would look like this. And now we have two light attacks, a heavy, a combo finisher, and then a power finish. And then finally we will have the full light attack string into a combo finisher into a power finish. And then you'll see right here, once the gauge comes off, you'll be back in your regular state. The power finish that you just saw earlier, that will be used every time you chain it with a damage skill, because all of her damage skills can chain into a combo finisher, and the power finish every time will look like that. So since we're already on the topic of skills, let's go ahead and get to that. Alright, so we have our first damage skill right here, Riding Free. This allows you to lunge at the enemy really fast. I like using this skill a lot as it allows me to essentially close the distance on a lot of enemies that like to run around a lot. Now, we also have another damage skill right here called Star Chaser. This is sort of the opposite of what Riding Free does, as this one uses a range attack instead. We have a really heavy damage skill right here called Embrace Sword. This one works a little bit more differently because you have to charge it up fully. The range on this skill is pretty good when it's fully charged anyways, and on top of that, it already does a hefty amount of damage. Not only that, but it's multiple hits within the skill. Now, we have our first debuff skill called Eternity Loot. This skill right here allows you to plant your sword into the ground to make an AoE that inflicts slow on your enemies. Now, we have another damage skill, Hearts on Fire. This allows you to rapidly attack, and not only that, depending on how much damage you deal with this attack, this will heal you based on that damage you dealt. If you don't have her Delta Clock on her healing side, then this is pretty damn useful, as you can just get free HP from doing a damage skill. We have another damage skill called Thunderbird. This skill allows you to dive down onto an enemy, and then as it says right here in the description, this can also deal a high amount of stun. Now, we have a buff skill right here, Unchained. This allows her to dodge, and it can be activated up to 3 times. Now, if you time this correctly, you can use it the same as her damage skills, which allow her to go into a combo finisher. Now, her last skill, which is a buff called Rising Nova, this enhances the Delta Clock. So all the stuff that the Delta Clock does, this enhances that even further. Now, this is what I use on Beatrix for my skills. I use Star Chaser, Thunderbird, Embrace Sword, and then Rising Nova. So 3 damage skills and 1 buff. Now, as recommended sigils, the first one, Ultramarines Flash. This is extremely good on Beatrix because it shortens her school. Because all it does is shortens her cooldown by 20% while she's in Devour Causality. We also have Adversity right here, which I'm not getting much value out of right now because of my build, but all it does is increase her damage cut by a max of 30% based on how low her health is. Now, another thing, y'all saw earlier that I do have Stout Heart on one of my summons. I absolutely recommend it on Beatrix if you're not using the defensive part of her Delta Clock. The rest of these down here, like Aegis, Greater Aegis, Stronghold, and Steel Nerves, these are all just like more defensive stuff for Beatrix, as I do tend to face tank a fair amount of attacks within this game so far. But other than that, everything else is pretty much personal preference, or to maximize damage or defense. When I play Beatrix, I do try to build up her gauge as fast as possible within the fight, because I like to instantly start off with Rising Nova, and then my other 3 damage skills is dependent on what's going on in the fight. So I'll go ahead and get started.
Let's show 'em. I'll make this count.
And then once I get here,
Ready or not, I've no more holding back. Line 2. Go for it. Time to shine. Now eat it.
and you see, due to my master traits, I do build up the gauge right back up as soon as I do a damage skill.
Oh no, you don't.
So it essentially allows me to stay in Devour Causality for a lot longer than usual.
Go for it. Nate to beat it. Thunder burn. Got you. Yeah. Break through. Success hello. We'll end this.
And I suppose we'll just stop once the gauge fully depletes.
Show 'em. We'll end this at any cost. You asked for it. Now eat it. Star Chaser. Have some payback. Princess, go for it. Locked on. It's time. Emperor Sword. Devour destiny. Immortal assault.
But as you saw earlier, not only do I build the gauge back up while in Devour Causality due to my damage skills, but every time I do a finisher, on top of that, the cooldowns are much faster. I believe all that's left is to test her out on Lucilius. So let's go ahead and get that started.
Paradise lost!
Alright.
I tore open the rift, only to be met by the same tiresome faces as always. Then crawl back to your prison, and you'll never see us again. These skies never welcomed you to begin. I care not for the skies' approval. I have come to put an end to it all. My thoughts exactly. Lucilius? Along with these skies. Your resilience has improved, but how will you fare against pure destruction? He plans to settle the score right here. We have to put a stop to it. Hit him with everything you've got. An utterly futile resistance. The depths of your delusion are almost laughable. Why continue struggling in vain? Your end is nigh. I cast aside this flesh. Ruin awaits.
And I believe I'm already in Devour Causality, so this is actually perfect timing. Oh, only a little bit left, unfortunately.
This power is mine to command, and with it, I bestow the grand finale.
Thanks for that.
Let me go and space out a little bit more for these guys. Oh, that's bad. Oh well. We'll suffice about skills for now. I may have caused that. I won't even lie to you. I might have made that egg go down from stepping on that landmine.
Couldn't have done it without Sandra.
All creation bows to me. Wretches. Useless wretches. Ultima Rebellion.
Let me go and revive this guy right quick.
Patience weighs thin. Surely even your feeble minds can comprehend the hopeless disparity between us.
Action already happened. God, that's already.
Destined to fade into oblivion.
Ready or not. Shine as one! Prominence flare!
You disgust me to my very core. Now, perish! Your survival is insignificant. Do not mistake this for triumph.
I did miss that though. It's alright.
Along with these skies.
Alright. Ironically, Lucilius and Chaos Plus Plus is a lot easier to showcase now. That shall be the end of today's video. I want to go ahead and update you guys that I am open to helping pretty much anyone at any point in this DLC. Whether that would be at the start of your Chaos tier quest, or even all the way to gain your first clear on the Define Vanity raid bosses, which there are 5 of them. You're free to join my Discord server to seek me out for help, as this game is crossplay now, so I pretty much don't have to constantly switch between platforms anymore. So I'll have my server linked in the description of all these videos going forward. Also, feel free to point out anything that I've missed in my guide so far that may help out others in the comment section. I know I won't reach everything in just one video, so I really appreciate those who know more about the character more than I do, who is also willing to make a few extra pointers that I may have missed. Anyways, I'll see you all in the next character guide, and thank you all for your time.